Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're absolutely diving into the hidden materials science of body jewelry, and we're going to shatter the illusion of how titanium actually gets its vibrant colors. If you've ever stood at a piercing counter, just mesmerized by those shimmering blues, golds, and deep blacks, well, you're actually looking at some pretty fascinating physics and engineering. So let's break down exactly what you're putting into your body. Here is our agenda for today's material matchup. We'll start with the illusion of color, move into anodization and growing the finish, then look at PVD vacuum coating. After that, we'll cover friction, failure, and time, discuss healing versus healed piercings, and wrap up with choosing your true colors. All right, section 1, the illusion of color. Let's get into it. Okay, so here's a basic truth to start us off. In its raw, milled, implant-grade state, titanium is just a neutral silver gray. Right? It's highly functional, it's beautifully biocompatible, but honestly, it's completely unremarkable to look at. So, if it's inherently gray, how on earth do we get those brilliant blues, golds, and deep blacks on jewelry? Well, the short answer is they aren't painted. I mean, you can't just dip implant-grade titanium and paint, pigment, or dye and expect it to survive inside the human body. It really all comes down to a battle of two very distinct techniques. On one side, we have electrochemical growth, which is a process that physically transforms the metal surface itself. And on the flip side, we have vacuum deposition, a process that simply coats the metal with an entirely new material. These two methods produce color through fundamentally different mechanisms. And understanding this difference, it matters way more than just picking out a pretty color from a display case. Moving right along to section 2, anodization, growing the finish. So, anodization is essentially pure electrochemical magic. The titanium piece is submerged in an electrolyte bath and just zapped with voltage. This electrical current forces the surface of the metal to rapidly oxidize. But it doesn't rust like iron does. Instead, it grows this completely transparent layer of titanium dioxide, or TiO2. This isn't some coating that's been glued on, no. This is the titanium surface itself, fundamentally transformed. It's less like painting a wall and more like growing bark on a tree. Plus, it's actually the exact same compound that makes titanium biocompatible in the first place. And this is where it gets super cool. The voltage strictly controls the exact nanometer thickness of that transparent oxide layer. The colors you see, they're basically an optical illusion created by thin film interference. Light hits the top of the transparent layer, some reflects back, and the rest travels through to hit the metal beneath before reflecting back. Those light waves literally interfere with each other, kind of like the rainbow effect you see on a soap bubble or an oil slick. Notice how at just 15 volts, the layer is about 30 nanometers thick, giving us a nice gold. Crank it to 70 volts, it grows to 90 nanometers, and boom, we see blue. Push it all the way to 110 volts, and the layer hits 140 nanometers, creating this incredibly vibrant magenta. But here's the catch, and it's a crucial point about the physics of thin film interference. It has hard limitations. Because the color relies on light waves bouncing and interfering rather than actual pigmentation, true black is physically impossible to achieve this way. Thin film interference simply cannot absorb all visible wavelengths of light. If you push the voltage way past 110, the layer just gets too thick and the interference effect completely degrades into this muddy gray-brown color. Which brings us to section 3, PVD, the vacuum coating. Now, if anodization can't make black, how do we get black jewelry? Enter our second contender. Unlike anodization, which transforms the metal, PVD is a rigorous coating engineering approach. First, you place the titanium jewelry into a chamber, and all the air is evacuated to create a total vacuum. Then, a solid source material is vaporized using high-energy bombardment. Those vaporized atoms literally float through the vacuum and condense directly onto the jewelry's surface, forming a microscopic film. Because PVD is depositing a brand new material, the coating itself determines the color. For instance, if you vaporize zirconium nitride, you get these beautiful, warm gold tones. But if you vaporize titanium aluminum nitride, or TALN, you achieve that highly coveted true black finish. And this specific black coating actually has a really strong clinical track record. It's heavily used in orthopedic implant coatings. So it's very safe, but as we're about to see, it behaves very differently from an anodized finish out in the real world. Let's move into section 4, friction, failure, and time. Because both methods look absolutely great sitting in a display case, right? But what happens when they face the brutal reality of everyday wear and friction? To answer that, we turned to the source material and a jewelry maker named Patrick. Now, Patrick has been building body jewelry for over 25 years. That is a quarter of a century. So as you can imagine, he has built up a massive mental archive of finish failures. And Patrick points out a reality check that honestly every piercing enthusiast needs to hear. He literally says, "I have seen finishes that looked stunning on day 1 and look like a war crime by month 6. Talk about a stark reminder of the stakes here. We aren't just talking about a little bit of fading. We are talking about total aesthetic breakdown. So here is the reality of how PVD fails. Because PVD is a separate adhering layer on top of the titanium, it is super vulnerable to friction. Think about it. If you have threaded components screwing together or a client constantly fidgeting with a ring closure, that friction will eventually grind the coating completely away. Those high contact points are always going to be the first to wear down and permanently expose that silver gray substrate underneath. Now compare this directly to anodized titanium. If you scratch a PVD coating, the color is gone for good. The raw metal is exposed, and the coating might even start peeling back from the edges of the scratch. But if you scratch an anodized piece, you're really just removing that local oxide layer. And here's the brilliant part. Because it's titanium, that protective oxide layer naturally reforms itself just by touching the air at room temperature. The scratch won't spread, and the finish won't peel because there literally is no separate layer to peel in the first place. All right, section 5, healing versus healed. Let's look at what this all means for your body. This table perfectly summarizes our matchup. Anodization grows a completely unpeelable oxide layer that is identical in biocompatibility to the raw metal. Meanwhile, PVD deposits a wearable separate layer that actually allows you to achieve true black. And these physical properties completely dictate their ideal use cases. For fresh healing piercings, anodized titanium is the overwhelming evidence-based default among professional piercers. The benefits are just undeniable. It has identical biocompatibility to bare implant-grade titanium. There is absolutely zero foreign coating to flake off inside a healing fistula, no delamination risk, and because it's 100% titanium, it eliminates the concern of nickel allergies entirely. It's structural color, meaning it's not going to wash off or wear away inside your body. Conversely, PVD-coated titanium isn't a bad product at all. Far from it. As long as the base substrate is truly implant-grade titanium and the coating is a known biocompatible material like Ti-ILN, PVD is a fantastic high-quality choice. It is absolutely perfect for fully healed piercings when you really just need that stealthy, true black or an exotic metallic finish that anodization simply can't provide. And finally, section 6, choosing your true colors. Let's wrap this up. Ultimately, it all comes down to this core philosophy. Anodization is a material science approach. You grow the color organically right from the metal itself, accepting the limitations of that interference spectrum to gain a finish that literally cannot delaminate. PVD, on the other hand, is the coating engineering approach. You deposit nearly any color you could ever want onto the metal, accepting the trade-off that, yeah, eventually, coatings will wear. When you go to a studio, your piercer needs to be crystal clear about which finish you're actually getting. If they just shrug and say, "Oh, it's titanium, it's fine," without specifying whether it's anodized or PVD, they are leaving out the single biggest variable in durability. Because this isn't just marketing jargon, folks. It is hard science that determines if your jewelry will look stunning for years or look like a war crime in just a few weeks. Which leaves us with a final thought for the next time you're shopping for a vibrant new piece of jewelry. Look closely at that shiny surface and ask yourself, are you wearing a fundamentally transformed metal or just a temporary coating waiting to rub away? Thanks for exploring the science of jewelry with us today, and stay curious.